Okay, today we're going to learn how to fix a torn crotch in a pair of jeans. So you can see how these have been torn, and I've tried to sew it back together once on one side and then it tore on the other side. So what I did there was open this up and I put an iron-on patch inside the crotch there so that it'll stop that from happening in the future. And then I can take a sewing machine with a zigzag stitch and sew around the perimeter of that, couple stitches across the middle, and then that'll be good for another 100,000 miles. So here's a pair of jeans that have not torn yet. So we're gonna go ahead and do some preventative maintenance on these. So I'm gonna use my ironing board with the corner, or with the front corner, in order to get this iron so that it'll lay flat on here. So what we're doing right now is we're just getting all the wrinkles out so that when we put the iron-on patch on, we're not having to fight wrinkles in order to get the patch to lay flat. And this is like the worst spot on a pair of jeans to try to get flat, so this step is pretty crucial to having success. All right, so you can just rotate it one way, rotate it the other way. And this iron's getting hot, so it's getting a little sticky. So what we're gonna do here is make sure that these never tear out. And so once we get this patch done, this will be stronger than the original jeans. Zzz. All right, so after we get the majority of our wrinkles out, even if you don't have every single wrinkle out, just the fact that you ironed it is gonna help keep it flat. So we wanna start right in the center of where the seam is with the center of the patch. So you can see that, line up this with the center of the patch right there. And it's gonna rip out on the butt side. So that's the side of the, you wanna put it on. And so we start in the middle. You want this to be lined up right with the edge of that seam because it's gonna be tearing off of there if you try to go over that seam. I guess you could go over the seam, you just have to stitch it on. And then I put a little bit of water in here to get this iron to steam so that it has a little bit more fluid flow across the material. So once we get it kind of stuck down where we want it, just hold that iron on until it gets really good and hot and gets that glue to adhere into the fabric. And if it's too hot, you'll see it'll stick real bad, and then you'll also see the iron-on patch start to bubble and like burnt plastic. All right, so once we get the center, then we shift it so that we can get the edge. Now you may not be able to get the whole entire edge in one shot. You might have to do one section at a time in order to get that thing to lay down exactly flat. Now this patch could go on the outside, but then you're gonna change the color of the material on the outside of your pants and it's gonna look like you got a patch on the outside of your pants. Now you may want that look, but I don't, so I put it on the inside. I could cut this into the shape of a heart or something and put it on the outside if I wanted to be like one of the cool kids. All right, so once we get that side done, we'll rotate this back over here and try to get our fabric to sit flat. As possible, and then hit her again. depending on the temperature of your iron, you may have to hold that thing on there for 10 or 15, 20 seconds. I put it on cotton. So now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over the center portion, and I'm going to hit it right with the edge of the iron right up next to the seam, so that it gets a good bond right there where that fabric lifts up and transitions. All right, looks like we got her ironed on there. So now we can check our edges, make sure we don't have any peel up. This looks like I got it zapped pretty good, because the heat of the dryer will start to peel these off if you don't sew them down. So anyway, that's that part. Good for 100,000 miles. Now I gotta hit it with the sewing machine, and then it should be set. But I don't think I'll be able to do a video on the sewing machine unless I got somebody holding the camera. So